if we look at Snap here, because Snap reported the stock was up over 20%. It's up 9-10%. The market's selling off a little bit as we do this midday. If you look at the S&P 500, you got up 14%. There's a stock that was over 30%, and we recommended it. And look, this is a name, guys, that I really like here, and it's at $8. And I think this is a company that's a 3Xer from here in a couple of years. The quarter that they just reported was great. I've seen this play out numerous times, guys. And when it comes to companies like Snap, there's one thing that they do have that everyone wishes that they have. It's a user base, a loyal user base of 500 million that they had so much trouble, enormous amount of trouble of how to monetize. We saw that with Facebook when they first came out. People forget Facebook came out, whatever came out. I think it came out like 56 or 58, and the stock went down, I think, into the 20s to the 30s. Yeah, they had all these users. They didn't know how to monetize, and they said, well, what about advertising? Next thing you know, they're going to be like the next $3 trillion company. I don't know if they're $3 trillion market cap. When you have, the hardest thing is getting that user base and then trying to find ways to monetize it. And that's what we said. We said there's so many ways to monetize it, and we pointed to Reddit. Reddit signed a deal with Google in February 2024. Reddit gave Google the keys to the kingdom. It was only a $60 million deal. However, if you do all your searches or anything on Google right now, what comes up first? It's Reddit, it's Quora, right? So now they increase their user base tremendously. More people using Reddit, and then Google gets to analyze all of these people every single second, what they're doing, and be able to create a profile and sell that profile to everybody all over the world. That's a new business. That's this new age, right? So you're looking at Snap reported, good quarter. Yes, they're buying back $500 million worth of stock, which is significant at a $13 billion market cap, which is great. That's not what's moving the stock. What's moving the stock is this Perplexity deal. Okay, this is providing an alternative revenue stream. The Google deal for Reddit was $60 million. This deal is $400 million. It shows you how much a name is worth. Okay, a good name. Because my kids are on Snap, and they're on Snap all the time. The average revenue per user is minuscule. It's this tiny amount, right? And I'm like, man, how can't they monetize this part of the deal and of their company? And now you're going to have this 500 million user base where Perplexity is going to analyze these conversations, they're going to predict the spending patterns, which will result in a massive increase in the value of each of these users or increase the average revenue per user, because these 500 million people aren't just going to be limited to Snap now. Now they're going to be open into all of these platforms that are advertising. And these names are worth 10x to 20x compared with what they were worth 3 to 4 years ago before AI really took off. Okay, you're looking at Gen Z. This generation does spend a lot of money. More importantly, they're very easy to predict because they spend their entire lives on social media telling you a minute-by-minute playbook of everything that they're doing everywhere they go. They know trends before they happen. They know what's going viral. Don't think of a revenue stream about how much they make and how much is in their pockets, and my 15-year-old's not going to spend a lot of money. They're able to see what goes viral. They're able to have these conversations of what products are great, what they love, right? Because if you had AI back in the day when Zuck took over Instagram, there would have been a bidding war from like 10 major companies, okay? Because they would have understood how valuable that asset is actually worth because of the people. Not so much, well, you have some of these young people on the platform, they like to post pictures. Well, they don't really spend that much. Wrong. It's not just that. It's being able to analyze what they're seeing, what they're doing, what companies are going to focus on, what products are going to come out. This is the ability AI has. Now, these names used to go for whatever, $1, $2, $3. They go for $20, $30, sometimes $100 because now you have the whole entire profile, and every advertiser wants to know exactly who is going to buy the product that they're selling, what time they're going to do it, when they're going to do it, what's their average spend, and they're going to have all this at their fingertips. And when you have this kind of platform of 500 million people with Snap, okay, this is up 20% of this deal. The market sold off. It's now up 11%. I think it's a screaming buy here because finally this management team is figuring out how to monetize their huge platform. This is an additional revenue stream. Dan, real quick, 500 million people on the platform, $13 billion market cap. Starbucks has 300 million on their platform. Their market cap is close to 100 billion. And they're not spending like $20, $50, they'll spend on coffee or whatever. I get it. But this information age, it's really here now. These names are worth so much more than they were 3-4 years ago. And when you have 500 million people on one platform, now Perplexity and Snap are about to know every single detail of these users. I mean, this information is going to result in tens of billions of dollars in sales going forward. And that's a new age of media. Right? This is what everyone's complaining for. You look at Zeta, you look at all these companies, how they take in information. You want to know? I just got the new iPhone. Right? I got the new iPhone and I have it set where it's an automatic setting. I know this is setting. It could say what companies are tracking you. Every single website that I've gone to, every single one says this company is trying to track you. Do you want them to track you? And I say no. Every single company, they want to track you.
Do.
They want to get your information. Listen, you want to hear something even funnier? So when I'm walking around New Orleans, that's what the conference was. I was walking somewhere and for some reason Google came. It's the first time I use Google. I always use Waze. And I know Google owns Waze, right? But I never used the Google Maps. Google Map came up and it showed me where my car was. I didn't even download this app, right? And they probably got it through Waze or whatever. But Google knew everything about me, even though I shut off just about everything possible for them to track me. And they still know. They're always going to know. That's the key, right? As long as you have that information, these people are just grabbing that information. That's why the disclaimers always change, and they always come up and say, hey, if you hit X, that means you accept the disclaimer. Don't ever read that disclaimer. Please don't ever read that disclaimer, whatever you do. We're going to take all the information. We're going to give it to everyone. We're going to sell it to everyone no matter what happens. I know it's insane, but you just click it because you want to get on the site and stuff like that. But that's a new age of media. It's unregulated. Everyone knows exactly what you're going to do, and it's worth an absolute fortune because now it's just not having this massive amount of useless data. It's being analyzed 1,000 times faster per second, where you could actually predict what these people are going to spend, where they're going to be, what they're going to do, which is an advertiser's dream. And I think Snap is right there. They finally figured a way. You expect more partnerships. When you have the user base and you have the brand, expect more partnerships because they have no idea how to make money for that company. Now they have people helping them make money for that company. I think the stock could easily be a 3Xer, easily.
Well said. So if you didn't buy it when we recommended it, good on you. But now you have another chance because we're up a little bit. But like I said, it's pulling back off its high. So yeah, good point.
Yeah, look.
Well, good on them for.
I mean, Reddit was in the 40s and it's 180, right? But before they signed that deal, when they signed that deal, it was in the 40s. And I didn't like Reddit as a platform. As soon as they signed with Google, now everything they have, now Google's promoting more and more people to Reddit. And now the more people that Reddit's generating, which you're seeing the statistics go through the roof, that's more people that Google could advertise, which they make a fortune off of to their advertisers, right? And that's the way it's going to be. And I just think this company, Perplexity, it's a very big deal. Again, Google deal with Reddit was $60 billion. This one was $400 billion. That's how much these names, the value of these names have gone up, which is incredible. I think just Snap is in a good position because they own, it's like owning Spectrum, right? EchoStar finally figured out how to cash in on Spectrum. You own the asset, right? They're like, we have $22 billion in debt and the company for freaking 5-7 years sell it. They sell it for like 20 billion plus and they still have more Spectrum. The stock goes through the freaking roof. When you have those assets on your balance sheet, when you have those users and that's an asset, it's how do I monetize it? And now they're finally figuring out a way how to monetize it. And that stock should be worth at least $40 to $50 billion market cap, not a $13 billion market cap. I think you'll really love Wall Street Unplugged Premium. The Wall Street Unplugged Premium is my members only podcast where I dive even deeper into this week's events. I'll tell you specifically what moves you can make today. Specific investment ideas I'm recommending and tracking each week. Also, the news we're picking up from our network of insiders. And becoming a member is super simple and super cheap. So head on over to WSUoffer.com to check it all out. Sign up today and you won't miss a thing. That's WSUoffer.com.